So, have you ever stopped to think about how world-changing technology is actually born? Where does that first brilliant spark really come from? Let's get into it, because the story is almost never what you think it is.
We all kind of have this picture in our heads, right? It's a story we've heard a million times. It usually starts in some university lab with these brilliant researchers just pushing the absolute limits of what we know.
And that story, it follows this really clean, straight line. You start with the basic research at a university, then companies take that knowledge, they develop it, they polish it up, and bam, it becomes a product in the real world that changes all of our lives. Simple, logical, flows right from the thinkers to the builders. But what if that whole map is just wrong? What if for a really critical new technology, that whole path is completely backwards?
Well, when we look at the data for blockchain and healthcare, that classic story gets totally flipped on its head. I mean, this is one of the most promising fields out there for making patients' lives better, but the flow of innovation, it's not going from academia to industry. Nope, it's going the other way. Just look at this number, negative 8.12 years. Now, I know what you're thinking. How on earth can you have negative time? It doesn't make any sense, right? Well, this number, this is the smoking gun. It reveals this massive, shocking reversal in how innovation is happening. Researchers actually have a name for this. They call it the knowledge lag. And in this field, it's negative. What this means is that companies were filing patents on the core technical ideas of healthcare blockchain a full 8 years on average before universities even started publishing papers on them. The builders were just way, way ahead of the thinkers.
So what in the world is going on here? To really get it, you have to understand that we're not dealing with one world of innovation, we're dealing with two very different, almost parallel universes, the world of academic papers and the world of company patents.
And this slide really lays out that divide perfectly. On one side, you've got academia. They're focused on the big picture stuff, the why and the what. They're asking these huge questions about governance and ethics. And if you look at a map, their center of gravity is Europe. Then, on the other side, you have industry. They are laser-focused on the how, the technical nitty-gritty, the infrastructure, the security, the nuts and bolts of actually making this stuff work. And where are they? Overwhelmingly in the USA.
And here's the proof. When you look at who's publishing the academic research, European countries are just dominating the conversation. Places like the Netherlands and Germany are absolute powerhouses of thought leadership in this space.
But then, look at this. The picture completely flips when you ask who's patenting the actual technology. The United States is just in a league of its own, with something like 8,000 patents. That's more than 5 times the next group. So yeah, the builders and the thinkers are literally living in different parts of the world. And it's not just a geographic divide, not by a long shot. It's a conceptual one. These two worlds aren't just in different places. They're speaking fundamentally different languages.
Let's start with academia's language. Their vocabulary is all about frameworks and rules and ethics. They're talking about patient consent, about how different systems can talk to each other. That's a huge one, interoperability, and how to manage all our sensitive health records safely. It's like they're designing the rule book for a game that's already well underway.
This chart just says it all. Almost 80%, 80, of all the academic work in this space isn't about building the core tech. It's about how to use it. They're way more focused on the applications, not the machine itself.
Okay, so now let's flip over to industry's dictionary. It's a whole different world. It's pure mechanics. They're patenting things like distributed ledgers, user authentication, and data storage. They are just building the engine, piece by powerful piece, without really reading the user manual that academia is busy writing.
This timeline is the perfect example. Take a core technical idea like authentication. It was a major buzzword in patents all the way back in 2005, but it didn't really pop up in academic papers until 2016. That's an 11-year gap. And on the flip side, interoperability, this huge concern for academics since 2018, is still barely a blip on the patent radar. It's so clear they are solving different problems on completely different schedules.
So you end up with the builders obsessing over the engine and the thinkers obsessing over the rules of the road. And this creates this huge disconnect. It's like they're building a bridge to nowhere.
What are the real-world consequences of a gap like this? I mean, what actually happens when the people with the technical know-how aren't talking to the people who really understand the ethical and practical challenges on the ground? You can see the disconnect so clearly right here. Academia, they're strong on the governance, the ethics, the why,
But what are they missing? The nitty-gritty technical details of how to actually do it. And industry, they are brilliant at building the how, the infrastructure, but they're missing the big picture frameworks for governance and making systems work together. It's wild. Each side has exactly what the other one needs.
And here's the most important part. The technology gets stuck. We have this incredibly promising tool that could totally revolutionize healthcare, but its journey to actual patients is slow, it's clunky, it's inefficient, all because the builders and the thinkers just aren't on the same page.
But okay, this isn't a dead end. Not at all. Understanding there's a problem is always the first step to fixing it. The path forward is all about finally building that bridge between these two worlds.
And honestly, the researchers who found this whole disconnect, they said it best. The solution isn't about one side winning. It's about intentional integration. It's about creating a space where the tech experts from industry can work hand in hand with the governance experts from academia.
And that really leaves us with this huge, critical question. This isn't just about technology anymore. It's about people. It's about collaboration. We've just seen that innovation can literally happen backwards, with industry blazing the trail. So maybe the question isn't just how do we build a bridge, but who should lay that first stone? Maybe it's time for academia to start following the builders, to help pave the road that's already being built.